magnify it to adult and kind of like you're in a facility. They do the same shit in prison, you know. So I don't know, dude. For me, it was that was like the only thing that I was kind of like not comfortable with when he was like out of frustration he said that because of what was happening. So either way, to me, he fucked up, but it was kind of like super Hollywood how she kind of just forgave him because of what the brother said. Like, I still...
Yeah, they gloss over that.
Yeah.
He should have had more repercussions.
Yeah.
Because that was a big deal, and then she just comes back and she's like, oh, by the way, my brother said that you were telling the truth. We all good, and then it just like goes from there.
Yeah, but also because he just lost his, like, all of his friends. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like, it was kind of like... that shows you how much it was kind of like taboo and also just kind of like flung over back in the 90s where you can kind of just get away with that and just be forgiven. You know what I'm saying? But that was probably like one of the only things I was kind of like pissed off about watching the movie. Kind of like, what? That wouldn't really happen. Like, I know if I were to do some stupid shit like that, or know if somebody were to do that while they were trying to date a black chick, that would forever ruin my chances. Like, even with another one, you know? So I don't know. Maybe she forgave him because he really was, but then it just shows your true colors when you are already past tense of what really happened. But anyways, Robert De Niro, in the long run, I wanted to point out, because we were talking about this before, is actually he's had biracial children and had interracial marriages before. So, but yeah, so for his character to come out like that and say that, it just shows you he's trying to give you a kind of like a peek into what that mentality he probably grew up in, or probably actually has family who believe that, or knows people who still believe they should just marry within their own race, especially if you know he's representing,
because they themselves are immigrants. They came over here you know, from Sicily at that time or whatever, you know, and they have their, how do you say, it's like traditions.
Yes.
And I feel like that stems that explains a lot of why Lorenzo does what he does. He's a straight and narrow dude. You know what I mean?
Straight. Yeah, he just does everything by the book. Like, he's the hardcore working man, you know? He's the epitome of coming to America with the American dream and wanting to do something positive, and he sees Sonny as the exact opposite, coming to America to create havoc.
But he also knows better than to snitch.
Yeah, that's one of the main things, is you can't be a rat. That's, you know, that on both sides of the story. You can't, you have to have honor, you know? I did a good thing, Dad. A good thing for a bad man. I never understood that until I think
that's that's like the whole movie right there is, you know, Collateral going out of his way to protect Sonny, and they don't know each other. You know what I mean? They mean nothing to each other at that time.
Yeah.
He didn't even, you know, Sonny never even looked his way.
Before,
but he admired him already so much that he was like, I'm going to protect him. And that created this, like, bond right there. Because you could tell that Sonny was like, whoa, this kid is, like, way beyond his years to be smart enough to know.
Yeah. To
cover for me. And nobody had to even tell him anything.
Yeah. He's already street smart because he was hanging out on that stoop the whole time. Yeah. And also I wanted to say not only did they hit the character of little C into the big C, you know, Collateral into C, but his friends really transitioned well too. The Mario character as a little kid growing up, and they look almost the same, slick, same thing, same mannerisms and everything. There's a couple new guys, but I feel like De Niro probably really focused on trying to find, you know, the kids' doppelganger when they grow up, because it transitioned really well for me.
Yeah, you don't even question it. Yeah.
You know who's who when they grow up and how they're fucking crazy kids. But what was like one of your favorite parts in the movie, dude?
Oh,
If you had to say watch this movie for this part to somebody.
oh, that's an easy one.
Wait, I think I know which one, but go ahead.
When C and Sonny, they're consoling in each other about Jane.
Uh-huh.
And Sonny tells him about the
test?
Yeah.
He's driving backwards?
The door test.
Okay.
And he's just like, basically explains to him, you don't know, you're going to get your like 3 great women in your life, and sometimes you're going to get them all in a row, or it could be spaced out. You never know. So don't skip this one, because this could be one of the great ones, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes on to tell C, like, but I'm going to give you my car, you're going to take her out on a date. And when you open the door for her and she gets in, she doesn't reach over and unlock your side. She's a selfish broad, and you need to dump her.
Right there.
You dump her fast.
Yep.
And he's like, yo, but what if she's one of the great ones? And he's like, no, forget about everything I just said. The door test, that's what matters. If she doesn't open the door for you, that she's a selfish broad, you dump her.
How about when he's like, oh, you gotta give her the test? You mean the Mario test? He's all, fucking Mario, what the fuck? Why you hanging out with that psycho?
Mario's a fucking psycho. Why you listen to that kid for?
I like the fact that C knows all of his homies too. You know, like Sonny knows all of C's homies. You know, like he takes that much care of them, where he's like, I don't want you fucking hanging around with those fools, because
he knows every element of his life.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, that's cool. What about you, James? What was your favorite part?
I don't know. I really liked the scene between when Lorenzo confronts Sonny for the first time.
Yeah.
When he explains to him, he's like, "Yeah, I know who you are. I know your reputation. You know, I'm not here to step on your toes or whatever. But or cross the line. I'd never intentionally cross the line with you. But he's like, you're overstepping your bounds, and that's my family." That scene, and I really liked the biker scene. When
shit!
When Sonny shows, he shows these bikers that show up at their bar, some semblance of respect, and he's like, let these guys have a beer, and then you guys, get on your way, and then, he does it as a sign of, as good faith, kind of like they're gonna act right.
Yeah.
And they say okay, and then they start shaking their beers, and they spray the bartender basically.
Yep.
And everywhere.
Tony Toupee.
And then yeah, and that's when they actually ripped the toupee off, which was funny. And then you see him reaching over, like hiding underneath the bar, trying to find his toupee.
Yep.
But then they all come in through the back with like their bats and chains and fucking guns
Holly,
and everything.
Dude.
Well, they go into the big ass brawl.
Hold on. They say, Sonny comes back in and he's like, now that wasn't very nice. And the main biker turns around and he goes, oh, you again? Why don't you get the fuck out of here? And then Sonny doesn't like that, obviously. He goes out, he locks the main door, and he goes, now yous can't leave.
Yep, now yous can't leave. And the faces on all 9 of them just drop, dude.
And then that's when C comes in with his narration, and he's like, at that moment,
yep,
they knew that they had messed with the wrong bar.
They had a reputation for breaking up bars, but they knew that they walked into the wrong bar. And
they just they serve him up, dude.
The music that they decided to play during that time.
Oh, God. It was iconic as hell.
You know what's so funny is I didn't notice until years later, but the reason why it skips to that song is because they bump into the jukebox. So it was playing Come Together at first from the Beatles. And then once they started fighting and fucking Big Paulie...
Yeah, throws one of them into the jukebox.
It plays another song, which I thought was cool. I didn't notice that as a kid or younger, but growing up, I watched it again a few times. But very cool, weird, abstract, violent shit to some love song about the 10 Commandments of love. It was just really weird to me. It stuck out because it was so opposite. And then the fact that he beat his ass so bad and he just like, this is, look at this face. Remember this face. I did this to you.
Yeah.
That's
and those were hell's, or no.
Supposedly.
Satan's
servants or some shit.
Helpers or messengers. Yeah, there we go.
But they're supposed to be Hell's Angels.
I think one of them in real life they had gotten a real Hell's Angel.
Really?
The main guy, I think.
Okay,
yeah.
Makes sense.
And they kick over their bikes.
Yeah.
They breaking their headlights and everything.
Even the neighborhood kids go and fucking beat them up with sticks and
the amount of stomped that they stomped the people out. I'm imagining. I can't believe nobody died.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just don't tell you, but they could have severely hurt.
Yeah. Especially that one last hit with the bat that Sonny does
in the head, and you see it.
He's like, "You fucking made me miss my lunch" or something. Like. Whack. Yeah, dude. Like,
and you show it. Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, and then it's all the 10 Commandments of love.
You really kill that man over Palky's space.
You know what I like about that part too? He looks over at Jimmy Whispers, and Jimmy Whispers' eyes get really big. Like, yo, did this kid just really ask this right now? But it shows the amount of trust that Sonny has, and he's like, kind of like, he's like, huh, like. You understand when you get older. Like, he already knew that kid was seasoned enough to be like, yo, he's not going to... You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to grow up to be a wise guy. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to try to condition him to do better.
And then it comes full circle when you figure out that it was Joe Pesci in the car.
Yep.
All those years ago.
And he was like a main boss. He was Sonny's boss.
And then he asks Joe Pesci's character, like, so, was that fight really over a parking space? Mm. And Joe Pesci just looks at him and goes, no.
It was over something else, Like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna be back in town running things, so if you need anything, just stop by the bar. He's like, yo, anything. He's like, come see me. Which I think is really cool because the whole fact that we, as the audience, already know Joe Pesci as this super iconic mobster. So it's kind of like, yo, Robert De Niro took that mythos of Joe Pesci being a good fella, and putting him in like a made dude in the Bronx Tale. Like, he's so powerful that you just see him for a second in the beginning, and then he, hey Joe, can you come do a scene for me? And he's, oh yeah, Joe Pesci was in in Bronx Tale, So it's like, it's almost like he made that role for him. Who else can you put in that role to be like, oh yeah, I would shoot somebody in the head for Joe Pesci, like.
Dude, the way that Sonny guns that guy down in broad daylight,
even the 2 bullets after. You know what? Did you notice that was filmed in a different speed during that part? Did you ever notice that?
It looks kind of strange, but no.
It's filmed at a different speed, and it's even like a wide angle shot because you're seeing it from Kalajadal's point of view on the stoop, and then how it all just kind of goes super slow and shit. I'm pretty sure De Niro did that on purpose.
Yeah, those 2 shots you were saying after when the guy's down.
Bah, bah. And he's like, motherfucker.
And then they're like, give me the gun.
Yeah, dude, they get rid of it. And those 2 cops that were on the scene, like, that fast, like...
Well, dude, the detectives, right?
Yeah.
We want to talk to your son, and he don't want to open the door.
He's like, we didn't pick his name out of no hat. Come on. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, we know your son doesn't see nothing now. To go take a walk.
Somebody gave him up, and they're like, oh yeah, that kid.
Yeah.
Lorenzo's kid saw everything.
Yeah. It was probably his fucking friends, dude.
Maybe.
But don't they say something to him when he's walking out? like
They run